Hello everyone. Today, in the second part of my ranking, position by position, I will go up one spot on the positional scale to check out the best shooting guards in the league. Without further ado, let's jump into the top 10 of the ranking. Number 10. Bradley Beal. The Suns took a huge swing when they traded for former All-Star Bradley Beal, and his enormous contract, which runs through 2027, is fully guaranteed and with an almost inexplicable no-trade clause on it. And they did it so while having one of the best shooting guards in the league already on their roster. The results were less than glowing, as Phoenix struggled all season in part due to not having a traditional point guard on its roster before getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs, a sweep at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Phoenix did well to address its lead guard needs in this summer, adding Tyus Jones and Monte Morris to the roster, a coup considering how badly the Suns needed point guard help while only having minimum salaries to offer. Might we be looking at a future with Beal as the Suns' sixth man? Maybe not right away, but it just seems like a possibility now that Phoenix has a serviceable low-level starter in Jones, which could allow Beal to come in as a reserve and dominate second-unit defenders. That might not happen right away in 2025 or even at all, but if we don't see an improvement in the ball handling, chemistry and defense from the Suns' projected starting 1 to 3 positions with Beal, Booker and Grayson Allen, it might be something Phoenix's new head coach Mike Budenholzer considers. And let's still remember Beal, as the third option was shooting over 51% from the field and 43% from free. Those are elite numbers. Number 9. Tyler Herro. If he were more reliable as far as staying healthy and with his playoff performances, Miami Heat shooting guard Tyler Herro would surely rank higher on this list, as his counting stats over 20 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists averages on 39% shooting from free over his past 3 seasons combined are impressive. But the unfortunate reality is that Herro has missed over 30% of his possible games since getting to the NBA. And even then, when he's been healthy in the playoffs, his postseason performances have been lacking. Without counting Miami's bubble run to the finals, Herro is averaging less than 13 points per game and 3 assists on below 40% shooting from the field and 28% from beyond the arc over his 25 most recent playoff appearances. Of course, staying healthy and not having to miss large chunks of the season before the playoffs might have helped Herro as far as not having to shake off rust seemingly every postseason. Maybe 2025 will be the year the former Kentucky Wildcat, a talented three-point and mid-range scorer with good playmaking vision, has better injury luck, which could translate to more postseason success for him. If that is the case, the former sixth man of the year could be able to outpace his place on this ranking. Number 8. CJ McCollum. New Orleans Pelicans guard CJ McCollum has had an interesting career in that outside of winning Most Improved Player in 2016, he has never gotten a single other accolade or earned votes for any other accolade, which is surprising since he is a 19.5 point per game scorer for his career with nearly 40% shooting accuracy from 3 since getting to the NBA. McCollum was his usual effective self this past season, putting up a 24-4 stat line while shooting a career-best mark from beyond the arc at 42.9%. And that was while having to play a lot of lead guard, which will no longer be the case in 2025 after the Pelicans' acquisition of DeJounte Murray. McCollum may not be a star, but he is a very tidy scorer from all 3 levels and a solid rebounder and playmaker for his position. Perhaps to the point that fans and media are underrating him a bit these days, and he is surely one of the better starting shooting guards in basketball. Number 7. Jaylen Green. He is one of the big question marks in the NBA. Former number 2 overall pick Jaylen Green looked like a max player for a stretch of games late in the season. Green eventually cooled off as the Houston Rockets missed the play-in tournament, but even so, it was a very impressive and important stretch for the G League Ignite product, who played some of the best basketball of his career during that hot run in March 2024. And yet, Houston still opted not to extend him this summer, and we still have mounds of evidence that Green, a career 42% shooter from the floor, isn't all that efficient of a player. Regardless, I am choosing to believe in that elite run of form from Green, as evidenced by where I have him ranked. And I think he might be able to tap into that efficient stretch from late last season more often in 2025. After all, he's an explosive athlete with good length and skill. He just needs to get much more adept with his scoring to truly take the next step. Number 6. Jalen Williams. The accolades of Jaylen Williams are not that impressive if we compare him to most of other players in my ranking. After all, he only made second team All-Rookie and finished 4th in Most Improved Player voting last season. But on the other side, he did all of that in just 2 seasons. Now, that's not to say the young Jaylen Williams doesn't have the game, as the Oklahoma City Thunder guard has displayed an all-star ceiling through 2 NBA seasons, and especially if he takes another leap or two, as he did from his rookie to sophomore campaign. I think Williams, a talented scorer from the mid-range, with much improved three-point accuracy, is due to another leap in 2025. Hence his spot just behind top 5 of this ranking. He will just need to maintain those great shooting marks from 3 and the free throw line with higher volume and learn how to draw more fouls. That last part shouldn't be a problem, considering his superstar backcourt mate, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is a master of that craft. Number 5. Desmond Bane. He missed a lot of games while the Memphis Grizzlies tanked the season, so people were probably not paying much attention. But Desmond Bane put up numbers last season that would have warranted All-NBA consideration, with a bigger body of work and Memphis winning. Bane only played in 42 games last season, but shined in those contests, putting up career marks in points per game and assists per game, while still shooting 38% from 3, despite having defenses be able to key in on stopping him much more often than in seasons prior. A usually elite three-point shooter with an off-the-dribble scoring game from the mid-range and underrated playmaking, Bane remains a top-notch shooting guard and an important piece for a Grizzlies team that should be back in the playoff mix in 2025. Number 4. Jaylen Brown. He just won a title with Boston and earned a Finals MVP honors. But was he really the team's best player? After all, he didn't exactly have to carry the Celtics in the 2024 postseason, as Boston was a clear cut above every other team in the league last year. Regardless, Brown had a fantastic 2024 season, silencing the naysayers who questioned the size of his contract, which was once the largest in NBA history. The fact Brown had a Finals MVP level run in the playoffs after how the previous season ended for Boston no less makes his 2024 postseason run all the more impressive. Lest we forget, Brown averaged 19 points on 41% shooting and 16% from 3, to go with 3.4 assists and 3.6 turnovers in that 2023 Eastern Conference Finals series defeat against the Heat the year prior. So the fact he bounced back all the way to win a ring and the Finals MVP is borderline inspirational, and speaks to Brown's mental fortitude. Along with playing elite defense, Brown put up 24 points and 6 rebounds on 51% shooting last postseason, helping guide Boston to its first championship since 2008. And for that, Brown, an elite two-way player with great off-the-dribble scoring prowess and fantastic athleticism around the rim, earned his spot in this ranking. Number 3. Donovan Mitchell. After signing an extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers this summer, despite so many rumors and prior seasons indicating that wouldn't happen, five-time All-Star Donovan Mitchell enters 2025 with some good momentum after helping lead Cleveland to the second round of the playoffs last season. Mitchell once again had an explosive playoff run in 2024, averaging 29.6 points, 5.6 rebounds and 4.7 assists on 47% shooting from the floor. The Cavaliers won a tough 7-game series against the Orlando Magic to open the postseason before falling to the eventual champion, Celtics. By the way, no big deal, but Mitchell ranks 7th all-time in playoff scoring average at 28.1 points per game. All-time. Mitchell, entering his age 28 season, is one of the best shooting guards in the NBA thanks to his deep shooting range from 3 and explosiveness around the basket. Can you win a championship with him as your best player? The Cavaliers apparently plan to find out, but even if you can't, in this NBA era, that's not abnormal considering the shooting guard position isn't as loaded as it was during the Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade days. Among the players in this ranking, only Edwards seems like the type who can unquestionably be the best player on a championship team as a shooting guard. The other two guards in the leagues just aren't at that level, and that includes Donovan Mitchell. Number 2, Devin Booker. There is not much to say here. Devin Booker had a great 2024 season, averaging over 27 points per game and nearly 7 assists nightly, while being asked to be the Suns' star 2 guard, as well as their point guard a lot of the time due to the team's poor roster construction. It's not like Booker no-showed in the playoffs either, as he put up 27.5 points, 6 assists and 1.8 steals on 49% shooting against what was a very strong Minnesota team. Why is he better than Mitchell? I still think he's a bigger caliber player, which he already proved by leading Phoenix Suns to NBA Finals, something that Mitchell was not able to do. The only way to change the order between number 3 and number 4 on my ranking? Just prove me wrong. Number 1, Anthony Edwards. The former number 1 overall pick has developed into the best shooting guard in the NBA. One who puts up huge numbers on a nightly basis and leads a Minnesota Timberwolves team that has turned into a contender. Edwards was the focal point of Minnesota's run to the Western Conference Finals this past season, averaging over 27 points, 7 rebounds and 6.5 assists on 40% shooting from 3 in the playoffs. A run that included the Wolves knocking off the then reigning champion, Denver Nuggets. All in all, Edwards is a spectacular player, a 3-level scorer with insane athleticism and length, who plays with a tough mentality and who has an old-school flair to his game, in that he will let an opponent know when he's lighting him up, and he will do so loudly. Without question, one of the most entertaining players in the game today. Edwards entered 2024 as a potential contender to earn the best shooting guard in the game, and ended the season as pretty much the consensus pick for that title. That's it for today. Thanks for watching the second part of my ranking, and I see you next time. Bye!